Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today we are diving into the world of T.S. Eliot, one of the most influential literary critics of the 20th century. If you are preparing for the UGC NET English exam, this video is just for you. We'll cover Eliot's most important critical works which are essential for your studies. So let's get started. T.S. Eliot, one of the most significant literary figures of the 20th century, made profound contribution to literary criticism. For the UGC NET English exam, it's essential to focus on his major critical works, which have shaped modern literary theory and criticism. Here are some of his most important critical works. So first is Tradition and the Individual Talent, 1919. This essay emphasizes the importance of literary tradition. Eliot argues that a poet must be aware of the literary past and that new work should be judged in the context of this tradition. He introduced the personal theory of poetry, suggesting that poetry should be an escape from personal emotion, making the poet a medium rather than a direct source of expression. In short, this essay argues for the importance of literary tradition and the relationship between the past and the present in poetry. Eliot introduces the idea of the impersonal theory of poetry, where the poet's personal emotions should be detached from their work. This work is foundational in understanding modernist literary theory and the role of tradition in literary creativity. The progress of an artist is a continual self-sacrifice, a continual extinction of personality. This is the quote from Tradition and the Individual Talent. Next up is Hamlet and His Problems, 1990. In this essay, Eliot critiques Shakespeare's Hamlet, introducing the concept of the objective correlative. He argues that the play fails to effectively link the protagonist's emotions to external events, making it an artistic failure in his view. This idea has since become a significant tool in literary analysis. In other words, Eliot critiques Shakespeare's Hamlet, introducing the concept of the objective correlative, which refers to a set of objects, situations, or events that evoke a particular emotion. This essay influenced literary analysis and interpretation, particularly in how emotions are conveyed in literature. The only way of expressing emotion in the form of an art is by finding an objective correlative. This quote is from Hamlet and His Problems. Now let's discuss the Metaphysical Poets, 1921. Eliot's essay praises the intellectual complexity and unified sensibility of metaphysical poets like John Donne. He argues that their ability to blend thought and feeling in poetry was a lost art in the intervening centuries. In short, Eliot discusses the characteristic of metaphysical poetry, praising poets like John Donne for their intellectual complexity and unified sensibility. This work revived interest in metaphysical poets and reshaped the evolution of 17th century poetry. A thought to Donne was an experience, it modified his sensibility. Quote from the Metaphysical Poets. Next is the function of criticism. In the function of criticism, 1923, Eliot differentiates between creative writers and critics. He asserts that Criticism should be a disinterested pursuit aimed at providing true judgment. This essay highlights the importance of objectivity in literary criticism. In other words, Eliot differentiates between the creative writers and critics, arguing that criticism should be a disinterested endeavor aimed at providing a true judgment of literature. This essay emphasizes the role and responsibilities of critic in literary discourse. The critic must be very intelligent and to do their job. They must have no emotional attachment to the works they criticize. This quote is from The Function of Criticism. Next is The Sacred Wood, Essays on Poetry and Criticism. Eliot's collection, The Sacred Wood, Essays on Poetry and Criticism 1920 compiles several of his crucial early essays, including Tradition and the Individual Talent and The Hamlet and His Problems. This collection is a cornerstone for understanding his critical philosophy. In short, this collection includes many of Eliot's important early essays, including Tradition and the Individual Talent and Hamlet and His Problems. The collection is a pivotal in understanding Eliot's critical principles and his influence on literary criticism. Moving forward to his poetic work, Four Quartets, 1943. This piece, while primarily poetry, contains profound philosophical and critical reflections on time, spirituality, and human experience. It showcases Eliot's holistic view of a literary creation and interpretation. In other words, while primarily a poetic work, Four Quartets contains profound philosophical and critical reflection on time, spirituality, and human experience. The work blends poetry and critical thought, demonstrating Eliot's holistic view of literary creation and interpretation. In Notes Towards the Definition of Culture, 1948, Eliot explored the concept of culture and its relationship to religion, society, and politics. He discusses the importance of maintaining culture continuity, reflecting this conservative culture philosophy. In other words, this prose work explores the concept of a culture and its relationship to religion, society, and politics. Eliot discusses the importance of maintaining culture continuity. It provides insights into Eliot's broader social and cultural criticism, reflecting his conservative culture philosophy. Culture may even be described simply as that which makes life worth living. This quote is from Notes Towards the Definition of Culture. Lastly, on Poetry and Poets, 1957, is a collection of essays that includes Eliot's later critical writings. Notable essays like The Three Voices of Poetry and What is Classic dwell into the nature of poetic voices and the criteria for classic literature. In short, this collection of essays includes some of Eliot's most important later critical writings, and they dwells into the nature of poetic voices and the criteria for classic literature. The collection encapsulates Eliot's mature reflection on poetry and its role in society. These works are crucial for understanding T.S. Eliot's impact on literary criticism and his contribution to modernist thought. Familiarity with these texts will provide a solid foundation for the UGC NET English exam. And friends, there you have it. These are the essential critical works of T.S. Eliot that you need to know for the UGC NET English exam. Understanding these texts will give you a solid foundation in literary criticism and the modernist thought. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more literary insights. Thanks for watching and happy studying.